Jolanta Kwaśniewska, who is World Women Davos Hero last year, the award, and we will be talking about it now later. Just stay with us and Natalia. Natalia just came from Kiev. You are managing director, CEO of the company. Please tell very few about the company.
So I work with CHERVONA and run the Ukrainian office. Our company, the main mission is to protect service members and civilians with autonomous systems. So that's basically what we are doing in Ukraine as well.
So you came from Kyiv when?
Just yesterday I arrived. Actually, it took me 2 days. To get here,
what is the situation in Kyiv? Because we know there were Russians were targeting the system, energy system, and I know there's blackout. How you and your family lives there?
That's true. So basically, I was coming here and making my talking points, and out of sudden, we had another severe attack on Kyiv. So I was coming here and wanted to tell you that we have 16 residential buildings without heating. Now we have 6,000 again. So that's basically the reality we face there. My friends, my family, some of us do not have heating, electricity, water. Some of them do not have all of those items. And we are, you were talking about resilience here. So I just want to tell you that, yeah, there is a fatigue, but there is a dignity. So Ukraine, we do not live in constant panic. We live in constant adaptation to the reality, because, you know, I wanted to tell you another things, and now I'm telling totally different, because overnight everything has changed. And myself also, I have 3 kids in Kyiv, and it's more stressful to be here than to be there when I hear the sound of missiles or Shahed drones or whatever, because there I think I can do something. Here I just see my phone and see that there is air raid siren goes on, and okay, I feel that something can happen. So that's very stressful and nervous to be here. It's so warm in Kyiv. Actually, it's -20. Sometimes, and in the room, my friend once told me, "Oh, I have +15 in my room."
Wow.
No, oh, that's cold. She told, "No, it's fine. It's better than like 10." Okay, yeah, it's better. So that's the reality we face, and just being here is very good. Again, it's very warm. It's very quiet, which is also good. But I want to come back as soon as possible. I actually, when the war started, and I had that question, so I will steal it from you. No problem. So when the war started, and I want to remind everyone that the war started in 2014 for Ukrainians who actually at that time, they also left their homes and relocated from the eastern regions.
So it's not 4 years, it's much more.
Yeah, it's much more, it's 12 years already. The full-scale invasion, so 24th of February, I'm in Kyiv, I'm alone, my husband is on a business trip. I'm pregnant with twins on the 7th month. And I just woke up because my phone started ringing and everyone just calling me and asking, what's going on? How are you? And I'm like, well, I'm fine, I hear something. And that's the moment you can't face the reality. It's something different. Your brain can't accept that day life changes in a second. And then I have an ultrasound, and I'm going there, and people start asking, no, you can't. I told, no, I should. I have my kids, it's their health. I need to check it. It's like a regular ultrasound. You probably, majority knows. And I went there in the city center, despite everything. And that's, there were tears of joy that I have, everything is good with my kids, but also tears of, you don't know what will happen next. So you don't plan long-term, you just live in this kind of reality. And that's why I tell you that we are constantly adapting. Because resilience is not the absence of fear. It's the ability to act and live despite it. So that's I would say.
This is your definition of resilience. Natalia, I know you were a manager in companies and working for American Chamber of Commerce for many years, but you changed your career. And I think the change happened during the war.
Well, yeah, we are still in war. So yeah, during the war, I changed.
Why did you change your jobs? But you could leave the country. You had a possibility.
Well, I left actually to give birth to my kids. I left the country, and just because my husband lied to me that he will come when I will deliver my kids, so he just made me leave. But in a year and a half, I came back with twins, and I actually now I have 3 kids, so all born during the war. But like to cut a long story short, I can talk afterwards if you want. I have a very interesting story. Why I changed? Because at the moment when you see the war starts, all those volunteers, civilian leaders, just basic business employees, they change their position and their goal overnight. They just started doing something for their country. So that was not because it was like fashionable to change and come into the defense sector. It was unavoidable. And it made me think that, and I realized that I can contribute to my country in that way. Because now we provide, as a company, we provide the data needed for the defenders in a more faster, safer, and at scale way, so that we are basically helping them to save lives.
Hold on, I don't know if you heard it, but we said it very quickly at the beginning. The company is called AI Shield, and AI Shield is
Shield AI.
Shield AI, and it's called and it's basically an AI tool with autonomous.
Basically, we have hardware and software. So we have ISR drone, and we have
drones. Yes.
Yes, and we have our software that basically helps companies to receive data from the battlefield in the real time, and that was an answer to my question: how my experience and my role can contribute to the real world impact. And that's how it is. I'm now with Shield AI, and I'm very proud that I can contribute to my country in that way. And I am very proud that we are on the ground in Ukraine, like standing shoulder to shoulder to those who defend the country. I'm very proud of it.
Bravo. I wanted to ask you 2 more questions, because this theme of this evening is resilience and security, but resilience is like the key word. And I asked you during our phone conversation before you were in Kiev, I was in Warsaw, what makes a resilient society? What is the secret behind, this years of, being able to stand up and fight for so long?
Mm. So if you think that I will answer like will give you some manual or tool or some magic advice, I wouldn't. I don't have one. As I told you, we live in those conditions, and I just want to tell you that whenever you think that you have a problem, and there are kind of different problems, but that's always just compare. Everything is relative. If someone tells you that, oh, I don't want to have to fly on a business trip because it will take me 2 hours, it takes me like 2 days to get here, and it's fun, and I'm still coming because I want to bring that effect. So we are united, and in the way that we know why we are what for we are fighting, why we are stand there, why we're still there, why. My kids are there because, like, whenever my kids hears the sound, he's like 3.5, and he asks like, "Mom, what's going on? What is that sound?" And there's fear in his eyes. And then I just stay strong, I stay confident, no fear in my eyes. And I just like, okay, maybe the storm will start now. I know I say that now because he's 3.5. I don't want to make a lesson of history for now. Because maybe he will have some other questions. But Now we see that you just adapt to reality and you stay strong and confident. And that's like how business leaders, majority are women, they're volunteers, business leaders, who actually needed to navigate and make sure that they are operating businesses and societies and families, comparing to others, and also having some losses on the battlefield. Like companies have their employees on the front lines, they have injuries, they have losses there, and they manage the evacuation at some point, and they stay strong. So that's how you empower others. That's how you show that, okay, we can do that. And people need to understand why they do some difficult things. Why? That's the first thing. The second, the trust. You need, and I'm speaking now more of the business, but maybe it applies to day-to-day life. The second is the trust. So you need to trust those people who are closer to reality. And the third is learning, because in Ukraine, what we do in Ukraine, it's learning in the real-time world. So, and everything we learn now, and the technology and everything, that will have a much more long-term impact on the world in general. So I think, I don't know if I answer your question.
Yeah, definitely. Natalia, you mentioned that, and I was thinking, looking at our First Lady, Jolanta Kwaśniewska, that she is running a program for Ukrainian leaders. It's called Mentoriada. They coming to Warsaw, and they get support, they get not know each other, etc., etc. The network, they get knowledge. They are amazing women. I had the privilege to meet them in Poland. And I was wondering what kind of, the next question was what kind of leaders we need in those very difficult situations, in crisis situations, in war situations, and what kind of female leaders emerged from the society, because they emerge very quickly.
Yeah, so what I told you was the leaders should be strong and confident. They should unite people around them. And basically the adaptation means that, okay, every day in Ukraine, we check on our employees. How are you? That's the main question to all of to all Ukrainians, but for the employees. And the number one priority for every business leader in Ukraine is safe and security of their employees. Because numbers matter, but lives matter more. So people matter more. And that's why you should stay strong and confident, and making sure that those around you know why you're doing that, why that you are staying there, why are you, like overnight, for example, today you went to the restaurant, overnight you had a huge attack, in the morning you go to the meeting. Why? Because we all know that in the end we are on the right side, and we in Ukraine are fighting for freedom.
Okay. Last question. I want to ask you about technology, about the company, because it's something that is, we're discussing AI uses in businesses, in media, in, equality. We will be able to discuss it a bit later. I was looking at Annabelle here. But in your case, you were not dealing with AI before, and you had to adapt. You had to learn very quickly and become a leader of the AI company. Tell us more about technology and how can it be, useful as a tool to help societies, companies survive in very difficult situations, be more resilient.
Yes. So, well, basically, why I changed, because I worked with international businesses all over the sectors, and then realizing that I can do the impact there, I joined Shield AI. What the main thing what AI and autonomous systems can do, it saves lives. That's the main thing which helps to gather data, to make sure that, like, having not many people, you still can operate the aircrafts or drones or other platforms. And in Ukraine, that's a problem, that we have not enough people now, and we need to make sure that technology helps us to move forward. That's the main thing.
Last 30 seconds, because she's so interesting. I would love to ask more questions. I know we don't have time, we're running out of time, but you manage, when you mention how smart you're using technology to save life, to make your society and fighters more resilient, it reminded me discussion in Poland how much we have to learn from Ukraine, because when Russian drones came a couple of weeks ago, our soldiers, our armed forces used F-16s to fight them. And my Ukrainian friend called me and said, "Don't worry, it happens all the day, every day in Kyiv." And she says, "You don't have to use this expensive weapons. We just use very simple tools, very cheap tools to fight the problem." And this is also about resilience and adaptivity. This story about using the tools you have and money you have and resources you have.
Yeah, that's, you have, you don't have plenty of options. You just have those tools you can use, and you just need to adapt in the way that, okay, if I can do that now, I should do that. And not every time you think, okay, I can do that later, or maybe in a week or so, just think that if you can do that now, anything, do that. That's the most important thing you can do. And now we know that in Ukraine, because you never know what will happen next in a day or two or a week. Just do everything now, what you are aimed to, and what is your goal and everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Natalia CHERVONA, it was a privilege.